All right, everybody, the BKBK podcast is back. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Brian Taylor and Captain Kyle McKenna. What up? Kerry couldn't make it. He's out for the day because it's his birthday.
Lucky him.
Yeah, lucky him. Kerry, happy birthday, my man. I think his little lady took him out. So basically, our in-studio Idris Elba stunt double is not here. But, hey, the show must go on.
With or without Idris.
Yes. So, yeah, man. So we have a lot to talk about, guys and girls.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
We have a lot to talk about. We do. And since our last broadcast a few weeks ago, the Jets won 3 games in a row.
Whee!
Yay, right? And we were basically on a tear, thinking all positively and everything. And, basically, like, the Jet fans out there probably couldn't believe it. Like, oh, my goodness, this is great. Some people were even talking playoffs. So Playoffs, right? So basically, let's talk about how the game went with the Jets versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's talk a little bit about what was going good and then where it went, because it wasn't really there today.
Wait, tell me about the good. I want to hear that.
We had some good O-line play going for a few weeks. We had some good quarterback play.
Okay.
Spreading the ball out to different receivers.
And RPO action.
Now you're talking about the past couple of weeks. Now let's make sure our audience understands what you're referring to, because clearly you weren't really referring to this past game, right?
Oh, I'm just gonna break down the fourth wall here for a second and say we thought we were gonna have a much better and more spirited, positive conversation today.
Based on the outline that was sent by yours truly, Brandon Phillips, huh?
Yeah.
So
tear it out.
Wow, is that the definition of looking past your opponent? Would you say that, Kyle? Because you called it a trap game early.
I was definitely worried about this being a trap game, and that's just what it was. Except, a trap game is when you have something to play for. We clearly have nothing to play for right now, but we were starting to think about things like, I think one of the announcers last week, Greg Gumbel or somebody like that, was like, hey, they're only 2 games out of a playoff spot right now. It's like, what? And the optimism was riding high. But that's with good O-line play. When you have O-line play like you had today, optimism is low. Yep. It is not Optimus Prime. It is Optimus Optimus Unprime, whatever the opposite of Prime would be.
Starscream or something? Is that what you're trying to say?
Megatron.
Well, listen.
We turned from an Autobot to a Decepticon.
We played like Bumblebee instead of Optimus Prime.
Listen, I did a little shopping this Friday. Feeling good after Turkey Day. I was out there with the wife, right? So I had my big Jets, hoodie on.
Yeah.
Feeling good, walking through the the furniture store and looking for a little SUV, blah blah blah, right? So I ran into like 2 different Jets fans because they seen I'm like a billboard at this point, right?
Right.
So the first one's like, yeah, man, listen, man, we can make it. We can make it to the playoffs, man. This is good stuff, right? So I leave the furniture store like, yeah, dude, you got to believe, man. That's the word. You got to believe, right? You got to believe, right? And then we're all feeling. So it's not just us in this room, right?
It was like a political campaign.
It did, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I would much rather try to sell you an SUV on the Friday before this game than later on this evening.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
This is ridiculous, man. I would have no patience to sit down, and that's like one of the worst experiences, just trying to buy a car. But but I digress. Anyway, listen, man. You had people texting me, "Oh, you boys look good." You know what I mean? You won 3 in a row. 34 points, 3 games in a row. Hey, blah blah blah. Defense looking good. We start to drink the Kool-Aid, just a smidge. I didn't want to. I went to a text exchange with somebody, and they were like, "You don't really think they can make the playoffs, do you?" And I'm like, "Well,
how did you answer that?"
I said, "Not really, but it feels good to watch meaningful football."
Yes,
is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right,
very fair.
And in 4 quarters, the New York Jets dashed that across the rocks. Right? Because officially, I don't know if they've said it or not or whatever, but officially, you got to say we're out of the playoff race mathematically and otherwise.
I think on the way up here, I heard Greg Buttle saying that, or at least on the show, I think the other host, I think it's about maybe a 1% chance now. So we'd have to win out, and then things would have to fall in our favor. If we win out, we would be 8-8, and then plus certain things would have to fall in our favor. But
it's the belief, the emotional,
yeah,
not even mathematically, but emotionally thinking that potentially, right? Had we won the next two games, would have been Cincinnati, who was 0-11, and then the Dolphins, who actually just won too, right? They beat the Eagles.
They beat the Eagles,
wow.
Right? They beat the Eagles, right? And they had something to play for. The Eagles did, so that's not going to be a gimme. So we can potentially go from, oh my God, win 2 games and we end up at 6-7.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, we're going to lose those 2 games and end up, 4-9.
Yeah.
This is the type of game that makes you want to walk away.
As a fan,
it makes you want. Yeah, it makes you want like the coaching. It's the type of game that gets a coach fired. It's the type of game that you're so high on the O-line coming off the last few games, and that we may actually have something serviceable. And then we go back to like lighten up the records boards for people, like getting Carlos Dunlap into like, the highest categories of sacks for Cincinnati Bengals history.
Yeah, exactly. Having him win
like
Defensive Player of the Week honors and things like that.
Yeah, you're giving a winless team their first win of the season since like September of last year or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like the Cowboys loss on Thanksgiving. It's the kind of game that gets that owners look at and say, yeah, I don't know if we made the right decision with this coach, and we might make a move, just because you had no feeling that there was going to be a comeback or there was going to be something good that was going to happen. Even it was just like it was depressing all the way through.
And you know what? I 100% agree with you, Kyle. And here's my take on it. Even though we won 3 in a row, we had some positive things that happened. It shows you what the Jets can be, but I still don't believe in Adam Gase as a head coach of the New York Jets or in general. And I look at Greg Williams as a very good coach. Not saying that I want him as a head coach because it's a little bit different, but look at the lemonade he's making with these lemons, to the point where we have the number 1 defense all around, not even just run defense because people are saying that, but overall in the league. Now, maybe not after today's game once we finish out the week after Monday Night Football, and then they can kind of configure, the stats and the rankings and everything. But up until this point, we have the number 1 defense. The number 1 defense in the league. Yeah, overall.
Based on what statistics?
That's not true.
That's not true.
We have the number 1 defense against
defense.
the run.
Yeah.
I know.
The number 8 defense overall.
What about for points against?
Oh, that's a singular stat.
Okay.
That's not.
I would
total defense number 8. That's what they said on the broadcast.
Got you.
And I had heard number 1 against the run earlier in the week.
Right. Yeah, I already knew number 1 against the run, but I was also informed that they were, in general, points against number 1. But I could be wrong now. But either way, for a team that is sorry as ours, let's just say that I'm wrong and it's top 8 altogether. That's fantastic. You're still making lemonade out of the lemons that you've been given. And that's the type of coaching that we need. We need coaches that when things go wrong, that they can still coach it up and coach up the best product out there. And just like how the offense has gone through injuries or what have you, so is the defense. The cornerbacks. We lost 2 starting Pro Bowl linebackers. We had suspensions where our one of our edge rushers, was out for 4 games. It's the defense has gone through it as well, but the difference is Greg Williams was able to coach these guys up and to out-coach the other team's offense, and that's what I think Gase is not able to do. He doesn't make adjustments well, and he doesn't always put the offense in the best position to help out the defense. So that's my issue. I still want Gase gone. I really do. And I'm not, one of those people that's like, all right, well, we haven't even given him a chance. No, I've seen enough of Adam Gase. And too bad we didn't broadcast last week or the week before because I felt the same way even while we were winning. I just don't like him as a head coach of the New York Jets. I just don't like him.
Well, total points, New England has given up 117.
Mm-hmm.
So they look like to be number one.
Okay.
San Francisco has given up 163.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo 188. We're at 258.
Oh, okay.
So, Denver's giving up
corrected.
217. So, there's a
Yeah.
number of teams, not a ton, but whatever. There's some teams that are ahead.
Yep.
Listen, man, I think they went after our weaknesses. So this looked like from a Cincinnati offense, New York Jet defense, it looked like the Miami game.
Yes.
Right, when we couldn't stop anything.
Absolutely felt like the Miami game.
So it looked like, they had a excellent game plan. We're not going to try to run against this team because, number one, we can't. Number two, that's not where their weakness lies. It lies on the outside with the corners. We weren't able to garner any pressure. But then again, they didn't hold on to the ball either.
Right.
3-step drops, get the ball out.
Yep.
We were playing a lot of zone.
A lot of zone.
Which I thought was terrible. I didn't understand why we were playing that much zone for that long a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But they exposed our linebackers in the zone, because they couldn't really cover the middle and didn't have their heads on a swivel, right? So if somebody came in, they can kind of knock them off their route or whatever the case was. And then the corners weren't stopping anybody, right? Giving too much cushion on the outside as well.
And we weren't blitzing. Our blitz packages that we have for the safeties?
Yeah.
We weren't blitzing.
I was thinking that. Jamal is not at the line of scrimmage like he normally is. I don't know what they were doing that would cause them to scheme defensively different and not have him be a playmaker, because when you keep him as a deep safety, he's not doing what you are paying the guy to do.
Right.
At the end of the
day. They lost Millette and Poole early. Poole came back, Millette didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a guy named Kennedy, who I never even heard of.
I heard of him.
Okay.
Was out there playing corner. They didn't even put Darryl Roberts in that corner really. Even though they had Darryl Roberts available.
Right.
He played, but he played briefly. Darryl Roberts, number 27.
Yeah. They also probably should have scored, and I'm talking about the Bengals now. Bengals probably should have scored 19 more points.
Drop passes for them.
17 more points. Yeah. They had drop touchdowns. They had a missed field goal. So I mean, like the score was the way that it was because, despite the Bengals.
Yeah.
They could have scored more points. The run game, I really think that, looking at all of the problems that we talked about.
Yeah.
With the offense today, I think that, you take away the coaching part of it, it's almost solidly on the O-line. The O-line actually scored points for the other team today.
They did.
With the safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the safety.
And we had 8 penalties on offense and 2 on defense.
Oh my God.
We committed 5 times the amount of penalties.
Yardage?
Penalties and yardage. We had 10 penalties in total for over 100 yards. And of those 10 penalties, the offense committed 8. And then the Bengals only committed 2 penalties. So it's the NFL. So usually if you commit more penalties, you're more than likely to lose the game.
Right.
Because it's that close, because everyone is an All-American. Everyone is great, and it's like then it comes down to execution, game planning,
right,
and mental toughness. And a lot of these penalties come from either not being prepared or not being mentally tough enough to be able to, remember the formation of the defense or the offense or this and that, or not get all souped up in your head and all of a sudden you're going off sides or whatever. And then plus, what the refs nowadays, and we've seen in 2019, they're very flag happy as well. So you have to play, to the best of your ability to not give them an excuse to throw the flag. And sometimes you can't help that. But if you're going to have that many, it's like, all right, now we're doing something wrong over here, And,
a holding penalty on first or second down is a complete drive killer.
Oh, totally.
Complete drive killer.
Yeah, I hate seeing 2nd and 20. It's like you already know that it's not going to work. It's just like, all right, we have to chalk it up to our next possession because 2nd and 20, especially when you have a team that's not that great, and that's the New York Jets, it's just probably not going to happen. Like, Sam Darnold can't be great all the time. And we've seen him convert, and we're like, yeah, Sam. But then also we've seen him not be able to convert because of, a plethora of reasons.
Well, we saw Compton at one point like tackle one of the players, right? And that was
such
the
a great
game.
run. Yeah.
That was a back-breaking decision.
That was a
to
first
do that.
down too.
That was a first down when we was like, I don't know, 3rd and 15 or 2nd and 15 or something like that,
Yep.
and we convert Le'Veon Bell going in and doing his thing.
Yeah.
And for that to come back, I thought that was the game right there because
And I
we didn't
loved
have.
seeing the pulling guards too. I've been asking for counters. And,
Oh yeah, that was
that was great.
That was great. It was great. And I hate them doing that on a 3rd and long too.
Right.
But he ends up getting it, and
Yeah.
only to have it called back too.
Yeah.
But there were numerous. I mean, all of those calls were legitimate holding calls.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was, oh man, like that was borderline or how you gonna call
No,
that
they
or
were
whatever.
legit.
They were legit holding calls.
Yeah.
And we, our offensive line, like I said, got exposed. Going back to what you said though, as
Yep.
far as calling it on Gase though, if what does Gase do if the offensive line is playing that poorly? How do we pin it on him in a game like this?
That's true. And that's a good question, a fair question. Let's just say that I was trying to do that just for this game. Then I think that question would hold more validity. But I'm looking at it as another game. This is our 12th game now that we've played. And we have 4 more to go. We've seen a continuous body of work from Adam Gase, which is just not positive. He doesn't make halftime adjustments well. I think that his play calling, he doesn't adjust his play calling to the extent of, say, let's compare him to, say, Greg Williams, because he calls plays on the other side. He makes those adjustments much better than, say, Gase does. He may not have made them great today, but no one's perfect. But also, we have a defense that has really no one on there except for Jamal Anderson of any note, But
Jamal Adams, you talking about?
Jamal Adams. What did I say?
Anderson.
My bad. Jamal Adams, of any note. And we're playing at an elite level against the run and top 8 overall, So, like I said, he doesn't make lemonade out of lemons. It's like everything has to go his way, or then that's it. Or the whole thing just kind of starts to crumble. And that bothers me about him. This would never happen to Sean Payton. Sean Payton would outcoach this. He would coach himself out of this rut, among and he's just one example of some of these other really good coaches that I hold in high esteem, and Gase is not one of them.
I think that you've already decided that you don't like Gase. And
for good reasons, yes.
I respect your decision on that.
I hate it.
You hate it?
No, I'm just.
Oh,
no. Well, I go ahead. I let Kyle do his thing. I don't listen. We scored 34 points 3 weeks in a row. I mean, and so he's got lemons on that side. So he didn't make any lemonade. You know what I mean? Not a little country time lemonade. He didn't make it for the last 3 weeks with the offensive line that he had to work with. Same old line.
He made an Arnold.
Tom
Palmer.
Compton. Where did we find this guy from? You know what I mean? Compton. Think about what that offensive line looked like and how it performed over the last 3 weeks. And if you're putting 4 weeks together as far as what you're judging the guy on, then how do you not say that, he's been sipping lemonade for the past 3 weeks?
And what I said Greg Williams does a better job of making lemonade, because he's not making the country time. He's making like Minute Maid, which is a little, too tart,
Like Gase made bug juice. He didn't really make lemonade.
Exactly.
He made sugar water. But
sugar water.
The sugar water.
Thick Long Island accent.
Yeah,
but
you get that at the bodega over there for $0.25.
But you, like I said, decided that you had the fire Gase sign up and the bag over your head for a few weeks now. The Joe must go.
I just want to stress to our audience that it's not an arbitrary decision. It's based on evidence. But go ahead.
Okay.
Did you go to school with him at Hofstra or something, bro? And then, you know what I mean? You guys you bunked together and just had a bad time? What happened,
Nah, when I went to Hofstra, my first roommate was Willie Taft. Sweet Willie. You know what I mean? My man Willie. Shout out to my man Willie, teammate and just a great dude. He's down there in Baltimore. He's a police officer. My man Willie Taft. Love you, man.
Yeah, but I think that this is the type of game that if you're going to make any argument for Adam Gase, and I hear what you're saying, Brian, about how is Adam Gase going to fix the O-line? He's not. It's the same O-line that was out there last week. It's just it was poor play. It was really poor play. Penalty wise, getting off the ball wise, allowing Cincinnati's D-line to kind of have their way with you.
Drop passes
back.
too. Drop passes as well. You know, we had a couple of, especially in the first drive or two. Barrios dropped one. Griffin dropped one.
Yep.
You know, we dropped some passes out there too. But go ahead, Kyle.
Cincinnati dropped passes too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
A couple touchdown passes, I believe. Yeah. You know?
I think the inability to run the ball, the inability to protect the passer, and the penalties, all firmly on the shoulders of the offensive line.
Yeah.
And then Sam Darnold tries to do too much. He threw one ball that was like totally across his body, back the other way.
And he hopped up off of one leg too when he did that throw. I think if it's the same throw that you're talking about, he kind of like did a little hippity Scott jump thing.
He's lucky he didn't throw 2 turnovers today or lose a fumble.
What were his stats, Darnold?
Yeah, probably like $160, no touchdowns, no interceptions,
no picks either.
Yeah, I'll look it up though.
All right.
They were only in the reds. They were only in the red zone that last drive.
Yeah, that's true.
I think.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying.
Yeah,
just a horrible game to watch.
Yeah,
horrible game to watch.
It was a horrible game to watch, and it was just one of those things. Like we played down to the level of our opponent, just like what we did 4 weeks ago against Miami, and it seems like. You ever notice this when it comes to the Jets? The game will be over, or even during the game, and this is I hear stuff all the time from, say, announcers and commentators. People are always doing things positively on their end against the Jets for the first time. Sure. So it's like, this is the first time that the Jets have lost to 2 0-7 or more teams in like X amount of years, or this is the first time that a running back has rushed for 250-something yards against it. Like, things like this always seem to happen to the Jets. And I'm just like, oh, my, why are people always first-timing you?
I think that was Adam Gase's stat, too. Adam Gase is the first one to lose to 2 0-7 teams in the same year.
It figures. And who's the head coach of our team?
And listen, we threw the ball.
Oh, it's going to be Jason Garrett next year. I can't wait to see how much you like that.
Oh, no.
No way, dude.
No. So,
everybody, welcome Jason Garrett, new head coach of the. Welcome back to New Jersey. You went to Princeton.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Brandon's reaction to that. That's going to be classic. So I'm going to get a T-shirt made of the reaction of that.
We threw the ball 48 times, first of all. Let's start there.
Holy mackerel. Wow. Did we really?
48 times. Did it feel that way? 48 times we threw the ball. 28 of 48 for 239 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We ran the ball a whopping 19 times.
Yeah, I know.
19 times we ran the ball. Do we own a toss sweep? Do we own one?
We ran a toss sweep last week. I saw us run power today, counter, and I think we ran some sort of zone.
We love running those zones
too.
Yep.
But we were getting penalties, holding penalties every time we ran the ball.
Yeah,
this is true.
So that was part of the problem.
I think we ran 19, but Le'Veon I think only ran it like 12 himself.
Ran 10 times. 10 times for 10 times 32 yards. Powell 4 for 14. Sam Darnold 2 for 9.
Wow.
Ty Montgomery 1 for 7.
Wow.
Ty Montgomery had like the first carry of the game.
Yeah.
And then Bilal Powell had a good carry, and then he had that good screen that was called back on a block in the back. So.
Yeah, I thought things were gonna. I was watching that first drive, and we were going to our tight ends again. That newer one, what's his name? Is it Daniel Brown? That tight end number 87, and then
Ryan. Oh, Daniel Brown.
Daniel Brown, yeah.
Daniel Brown.
Yep.
Yep. And then going to Ryan Griffin. I was like, okay, all right, we're starting to heat up a little bit.
He was AWOL today.
He caught
Brown.
He caught one really good pass. It was a play action bootleg, and then quarterback Darnold, he circles around, and I just watched Daniel Brown. He came in motion as if it was going to be a counter, and he was going to be the pulling, say, lineman or blocker to block the edge, and he ducks his head like he's going to block, but then he keeps going, and then he gears up to a second level to increase his speed, and then he gets open, and Darnold completes a nice pass to him, and I believe it went for a first down. And I was like, all right, that was well executed, especially by a backup tight end. And I just thought that we were going to start rolling, and it just wasn't good. I don't know, man. You know what? We're just not a good team. Maybe it hurts a little more because we reeled off 3 in a row, and we're looking at the only team that had no wins, and we just kind of chalked it up like what you said, as it being a trap game, and we got trapped up.
Well, I mean, you talk about us playing down to our competition, but we're not a good football team.
Exactly.
Right? And we only had one quality win, and you can't even call that all that quality playing against the Oakland Raiders because they're getting blown out right now. They haven't thrown up any points so far.
But they're playing Kansas City.
Well, they played us, right? So so that means they played down to us in 2 games. There was 34 plus another 24. So talking about 58-3.
Yeah.
In 2 games, you can't call yourself a quality football team if that's what you're doing.
They're a mediocre team. They're a mid-level team because after this they're going to be 6-6.
Yeah.
Just like the Cowboys. So those 2 teams are the 2 teams with the best records that we've beaten. Everyone else has had losing.
That's right. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys. I feel like
if you look at it, if we had done what we were supposed to do today, what we expected to do, and then we beat the Eagles, the Dolphins, and the Bills the first time, man.
Wow.
I mean, those are all games we could have won.
Yeah. The Eagles? Not the Eagles.
We're going to play the Eagles.
No, we already played the Eagles, and they blew us.
Oh, yeah.
No,
they blew the doors off.
Right.
Well, go ahead, Kyle.
No, but I'm saying they were beatable. They haven't had a good year. They're not a good team this year.
Gotcha.
The Eagles. So it's not like a team. They're a team that we looked at our schedule and we said, "Oh, we got to play the Eagles." Kind of like we were feeling about the Ravens on Thursday. I mean, they're one of the 2 best teams in the AFC for sure right now, especially the way they're making lemons, taking lemons and making lemonade. With the offense that they're running, they pretty much copied the Louisville. I went back and watched some Louisville film from when Lamar Jackson was there, and they've pretty much taken his whole offense in college and they're running it.
That's called great coaching. And remember how much I was pitching for Harbaugh? I wish the Jets could have swooped in there and just somehow gotten Harbaugh. I love the guy. I love Harbaugh. I love John.
You get his brother. You could get his brother this year. The car is running right now. He's just waiting to say, "Peace. I'm out. I can't beat Ohio State. I'm
honestly
gonna go to the Jets or whoever will pay me."
Yeah, and you know what? I take him. Give him the money.
I don't think he coaches another game at Michigan. What do you guys think? You guys watch that game yesterday?
I didn't watch it.
I did watch it.
I didn't watch it, but I know the outcome.
It's pretty. I should have bet on it because I was like, they were talking about by the points. I was like, they're going to get the doors blown off of them. Blown off. And that's, they hung in there for like a quarter and a half. And after that, it just started.
Halftime. It was a 2-score game at halftime.
But it never felt like they were in the game past like the first quarter. After that, it was like, all right, so now Ohio State's going to score a touchdown and we're going to kick a field goal.
Well, they got on the punt in the beginning of the second half and then recovered a muff punt.
Yep.
And that was like it. Like if they could have scored there, it may have been a game. But I just think that what do you do with if you're Michigan and you're Harbaugh? What do you do with that situation? Do you I mean, you don't really have the grounds to fire him because the guy has had winning seasons each year. He's been Michigan's been relevant every year he's been the coach.
True.
But he can't beat the one team you need to beat in order to get to the playoffs.
Sure.
But neither have the coaches before him. So if I were Harbaugh, college football is more stable. I wouldn't leave on my own volition. I would just try to stay there. It's a storied team and everything. But if they get rid of me, I'd definitely entertain coming to the NFL because you already brought the 49ers to the Super Bowl back in 12.
That's my point, though, is I don't think they're going to get rid of him.
Gotcha.
It'll either be a mutual decision in which he bounces because he knows, and it's the Saban effect, that no matter what you go do in the pros, there's always going to be one of 120 colleges.
Sure.
There's 90 more colleges than there are NFL teams.
Sure.
So one of those places is going to give you $8 million a year to coach.
True.
Chip Kelly, Bobby Petrino, Nick Saban, none of them had very successful pro coaching careers as head coaches. Then they went back and thrived on the college. Yep. Maybe not Bobby Petrino so much right now,
right.
But Saban as an example.
I'll tell you what, speaking of Saban, I'm glad that Auburn beat Alabama.
Oh, sure.
I was happy to see that.
Love watching
that. That was a good game.
Like, yeah.
Great game. Great game.
Yeah.
Definitely happy to see all that. So fellas, we are going to move on a little bit. Basically, I'm tearing up the outline that I wrote because I was going to talk about the positive. I have it right here, guys. The positive turnaround for the Jets. And we're supposed to spend 20 minutes on that. And check it out. I wrote this. I said, the Jets look different now, but in a good way. What fostered their positive changes?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. And then I even had the nerve to write down some of the things.
The Noive.
I had the nerve to write down, Jamal Adams, great play since the trade deadline.
He vanished.
You know what? He did vanish just today, but I know why. He hurt his ankle, and he actually he had an interview, the post-game interview. He walked out of there in a walking boot, and he was talking about it happened during the first series. So that's probably why we didn't see him blitzing and trying to set that record for DBs who have the most sacks in the league. So
what other good things did we do?
Okay, so what else did I write down? I wrote down number one defense, run defense in the league. Okay, I also wrote down the play of Bless and Mollett and Poole.
They got mauled.
Yep, and then the play of the O-line. 4 out of the 5 starters are backups.
And they played
playing way better than the starters. I even had the nerve to say that.
Yeah.
And then I said Gase improved play calling.
Negative.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just whatever. So yeah. Throw it in the air.
I don't know, so what do we do? How do we get back focused for the next game against Miami, who, to be honest with you, based on how they've been playing, they could come into the Meadowlands or wherever we're calling that place now. You know what I mean?
Kick our heads off.
Yeah, kick our heads off, basically. So and by the way, the toughest stretch of our season actually is going to be the last 3 games of the season.
Who do we have lined up?
Baltimore.
Well, Miami. Then
Miami.
Yep.
Baltimore.
The
Steelers.
Yeah.
The Bills.
Baltimore is going to make us look absolutely ridiculous.
We're going to get mangled.
It's going to be highlights on every sports show that you've ever watched of your man, just making us look crazy ridiculous.
Listen, before this game, I was like, man, I get my popcorn. We're going to get mauled anyway. But listen, number one defense against the run. We're going to play against them. We're going to be 6-7, winning 5 games in a row. It's gonna be
great. Yeah, morale is up.
Right,
all that, man.
We're going to lose, but it's going to be like, okay, we lost to a team that is clearly better than we are. You know what I mean? Baltimore, and then, and my frat brother Earl will reach out to me and say, hey, man, why don't you pick a better team? You know what I'm saying? Because he's a Ravens fan.
What up, Earl?
But, all of that was lined up.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, we're going to play the Finns, probably lose against the Finns.
We are.
And be 4-9 going into the last stretch of the season.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, we're gonna end up maybe 4-12.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
With a worse record. Were we 4-12 or were we 5-11?
We would be
Last year. What were we last year?
Last year, I think we were 5-11. I think, right? Last year.
What is the
We
irony?
won 5 games last year.
What would be the irony?
We had the 3rd pick in the draft. We didn't win 5 games last year.
I mean,
yeah.
let's.
You know,
maybe we did. Maybe we did. The Browns didn't win any games, or they won 1 game not last year. Was it last year?
Last year, 2018.
No, the year they picked Baker Mayfield.
We were 4-12. So we were 4-12 last year. We're gonna be 4-12 this year after cleaning house with our general manager, coach, all of these things, spend all of this money, and we're still gonna end up as 4-12.
Yeah.
Let that
We
sink
can't
in.
be worse than 4-12, right? they're gonna go back and give us a loss that we got. They're gonna be like, "Nah, you didn't really win that game. You're 3-13."
Probably deserve it too.
Yeah, we probably do.
But we've done all of this stuff. I say all that to say we've done all of these things,
Mhm.
made all of these changes, lifted all those weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what.
Right.
Yeah. Totally.
We've done all of that, only to end up with the exact same record at 4-12, and probably won't even get the number 3 pick in the draft. We'll probably end up because of other teams that are even more worse than we are.
We're gonna get the number we always land on, number 6.
6, right? number 6, just out of the reach of the players that we really want to get at the end of the day.
An all-pro type.
Yeah. I mean, thank God there isn't a lottery. We'd probably go pick 10th. We'd probably finish 4-12 and pick 10th if we had a lottery.
Speaking of lottery,
Like the
there's the
Knicks.
New York Knicks.
The New York Knicks lottery, right?
I
Gee
mean,
whiz.
we haven't been on the air since the Quincy Enunwa fine debacle.
Yes.
That's another thing that kind of defines our whole season here. For those of you who don't remember or didn't notice, Quincy Enunwa came out on social media complaining about how he got fined when he was AWOL for treatment. And he was AWOL for treatment because he wanted to go out for Veterans Day with his wife.
And he missed 2 treatments, 2 of them.
And he missed 2 treatments. So he was under the impression that it was wrong to fine him for that. And a lot of Jet fans were under the impression that it was wrong to fine him for that, which makes me just not have faith in the thought process of our fandom. But and again, like, and I'm not saying you're in this category, Brandon, because of your hatred of Adam Gase.
No, he is.
But I think some people hate Adam Gase so much at this point that they were ready to be mad at him for finding Quincy Enunwa for not showing up for work.
I loved it that he fined Quincy Enunwa just to say. And you know what? He fined him the maximum that you could fine him too. For that. No. For that particular infraction, for both days, he fined him the max, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're not playing. Go get healthy. And this is work, bro. This is work. You can't just arbitrarily say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out with my wife," and then use Veterans Day as a crutch because your wife is a veteran. God bless her, love it. Thank you for serving. But come on, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And the thing is, you missed it and you didn't let them know.
Right.
You let them know after the fact. I can't do that at work. You can't do that at work. None of us can do that at work.
No.
So now you want special treatment. This might be, well, I don't want to insult anyone, but I was going to say it might be a millennial thing, but I'm not going to say that.
I mean, this is a guy, Quincy Enunwa went to Stanford, didn't he?
I can't confirm that. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Don't know where he went.
I don't know, but he lost his smarts though. Somewhere in there, he kind of lost his smarts, man. That's not, listen, just, hey, give him a call. Can I do X, Y, and Z? I get it. The sob story, which I don't want to call it that, was that he has a 50-50 shot of even making it back in order to get back on the field.
Yeah.
So, which I get, but you can't tangle that up in the fact that you have responsibilities as, an employee of an organization to just inform them, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. Is this okay? And do it in advance of, not do it at the end of, and say, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, blah, 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 right? If he even did it at all.
So I pulled up the tweets. This is the tweet stream here
Go
from
ahead.
November 14th.
Yep.
I normally chill on putting issues on Twitter, but this doesn't sit right with me. Given everything that's going on around the team, I thought this could have been handled so many different ways. I've spent my time with the team trying to build myself up to be dependable and hardworking, so this S word hurts. I missed those 2 days because I took my veteran wife out for Veterans Day lunch and because I had to handle an emergency in my house. Anonymous wrote, I let the team know this after the fact, and yes, I should have told them beforehand, but I feel like this was excessive. What part of that, he didn't think that missing conditioning while being on injured reserve was a big deal.
And he's using the whole veterans thing as a crutch. So basically, he knew what he did was wrong, right? He knew it was wrong, but only fine me $5. That's basically what he's trying to say. Like, it should just be like a little slap on the wrist. But maybe the coach is looking at it from another perspective. Like, you know what? We're struggling as a team right now. We're trying to keep everything together here. And then we have this guy who used to be a valued player in our team and is still valued. He's some of the younger players can look up to him, and he's a leader. What kind of an example are you showing as far as how to condition your body, how to get treatment, and how to get back,
onto the field
and get back onto the field? You're showing poor leadership. You're showing a terrible example, of yourself. And I'm glad that they find him the max that they could find him. I'm not saying take your whole paycheck away, but, in what they have written down as far as, okay, you can find X amount for infractions such as this, and this, and that. And then there is like a grid of, low, medium, or high. I don't know how they do it, but if you can find him the max for this just to, really send a message, I would do it. I would totally do it. You have to be kidding me. There's a value of going to work.
Do you
guys.
put it on the whiteboard?
No.
That might have been part of it too. But
that might have been part of it.
It's on a board that says player fines.
Right. So it's already established, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's not like they did it.
He didn't just do it to him and say, "Hey, we put a nice heart around it."
So then,
No,
yeah,
there-
on time. But
there's two other people that got fined that are blacked out in his tweet.
right.
So he wasn't the only one that was
Gotcha.
fined. I just don't like my whole thought process is with this. You are collecting a salary. You're an injured reserve. You're collecting your paycheck. The only thing you have to do to collect your paycheck is to show up when you're supposed to show up there, and do what the team mandated treatment is, because that's the business you work for, and that's your job.
Yeah.
They're not asking you to play hurt.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't appear as though that they're doing that.
Right.
He's
right.
on IR. So I just don't see where personal accountability. And I mean, the other thing is to, it's two separate occasions. Obviously, it's not like, hey, I did it once. Why'd you find me?
Yeah.
It's two separate things in which you didn't call in either time.
And then to answer your question, Brian, knowing that, putting it up on that board, then the answer is yes, since it's already up there and this is what they do. And if I have to fine you, and I have to fine you the max, and if it already has to be displayed up there, I have no qualms or hesitations about that whatsoever. Boom.
well, I don't know if it has to be put up there. I know he didn't treat Quincy any different from the other players.
That's basically what
because
I'm
the other
talking
players
about.
were up there too.
Yes.
But it could be thought of just period. And I don't know in NFL, procedure and locker
Yes.
rooms and stuff if they do that or they don't. But that could be something to be handled privately.
I don't think so, because
fines. I don't know.
Because if the precedent has already been set that this is where we put people's fines.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, do the 49ers do that? I don't know. Versus the Jets versus the
Right,
this.
right.
I get that. You're going to do that for everybody.
Yeah.
But is that right to do it, period, I guess is the question. And it only came to light because
Gotcha.
Newton had an issue with it.
Period. For me, as far as if that should be handled that way, if that was my team, if I was the owner of the New York Jets or the GM, I wouldn't have that up there. I wouldn't have it up there. But if it's up there and I have no control of it being up there, then it's
Got to
up
treat
there.
everybody the same.
Treating everyone the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
If that was his issue was the fact that it was up there, I think we'd be talking about something different.
I think the issue is as well as that is that he got fined the max as well. Because who want that's money coming out of your pocket. I don't want that.
I mean,
Give me my money.
You think at a regular job that if you had an HR issue, that you go in and you talk to somebody from HR
right
privately, and then that would be the conversation you'd have.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have your issue kind of put out there.
Sure.
On the it's not a whiteboard in this case, it's a big flat screen TV.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess in the world of this season, and what is being created here, it's just another with the Yosemite thing and this, it doesn't bode well for redefining your team culture and your team culture kind of being improved.
Yeah.
But it went away for a minit because we had 3 wins, right? So winning,
Cures all,
winning
right?
is the best deodorant.
The best deodorant ever, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Just got to go back to winning.
Yeah, man. So
beat the Ravens next week. We're going to beat the Ravens next week.
Oh no, Dolphins first.
Dolphins first.
Lose to the Dolphins first.
Don't get ahead of yourself
then
there.
play the Ravens.
I thought that we played the Ravens on Thursday night this week.
I'll check the schedule, but I don't think that's how it goes down.
Gotcha.
No, it's definitely not how it goes down because we were supposed to play Cincinnati and then Miami,
Yes.
and then we'd end up at 6-7 going into that Ravens game.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So fellas, do we dare allow ourselves to have expectations for the rest of the season from this, from this point on? Like, do we dare to have any sort of expectations?
Oh yeah, I have expectations
whatsoever.
Yeah, that we're gonna lose the next 4 games. That's what I expect. If you talk about positive expectations or dare to dream,
I was saying positive.
No.
I was inferring positive.
Inferring, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I infer that we're gonna lose 4 games in a row, which will make it 5 games, right?
Right.
After winning 3 games in a row,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna end up as 4-12.
Yeah.
Which is pretty miserable place to be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so that's kind of what my expectations are for this team, which is extremely disappointing, bro. I mean, in 1 week, like you like, oh man, we were going through the text chain, 9-7. What would we need in order to make the playoffs? Would 8-8 get us there?
Right.
I'm like, no, it won't get us there. But I mean, it looked pretty good on the resume. If we can kind of work that out somehow. But no,
Right.
and the Steelers look like a team where, based on what they had, 3rd string quarterback.
Yeah.
They're
Duck Dodgers in the 21st century. That's who they have at quarterback.
funny. That is the team we should have aspired to be at this point in the season.
And I'll tell you why we could never reach those aspirations. Boom!
Coaching.
Mike Tomlin.
Coaching.
He should win Coach of the Year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like we
in
don't
the running. Definitely.
Exactly. Like
Definitely.
we don't. And sorry, I just blew everyone out. Boom. But like I love Tomlin. These Steelers, man, they really know how to pick their coaches.
But I know what Kyle's going to say. The offensive line is intact, right? So, which has a much better offensive line than what we're going to roll out there. Their wide receiver, they have a Juju,
who's always hurt and has had a terrible year.
Yeah,
terrible year.
Well, I mean, hey, you don't have AB on the other side. Now you learn.
Well, it's not even just that, like, because it has to do with
quarterback play.
They not even just quarterback play, but losing your Hall of Fame quarterback first game of the season with the whole elbow thing in Big Ben,
and potential Hall of Fame running mate on the other side too.
Very true.
James
and
Conner can't,
and then AB of course
can't stay healthy too. But just to take a step back, that is coaching can make the difference between you being good and great, or bad and good.
Yes,
right. Just to make you perform at your peak level. Not a lot of coaches can do that year in and year out. Block out all of the outside noise and expectations that others have of you, and put you in a position individually and understand what the key is to unlock whatever potential you have in you, each individual person, and then to group that as a team to go out there and do the improbable, the impossible, or the best you can put out there on film.
And Gase cannot do that.
It's tough. Yeah, he hasn't shown so far in the 2 trips, Miami and so far with the Jets, that he can do that. in a long extended period of time. And Mike Tomlin, for all the issues or just the negative press that he got based on AB
Yeah.
and Le'Veon and all of that stuff, he could have handled it differently or better. And
Shoulda, coulda,
he
woulda,
he
shoulda,
loses
coulda, woulda.
Big Ben, Hall of Famer
Yeah.
quarterback in week 1,
Yeah.
first game, and he comes out there and they're still in contention for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I mean, coach of the year, definitely, man.
And
They
down
just
to
sent
his
it to him.
third string quarterback.
That's what I'm.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his quarterback getting banged in the head with the helmet, and that
The controversy behind that,
Oh,
and then
my
they go out
goodness.
and win. I mean, hey man, great
The-
coaches.
Steelers have a weaker division than the Jets do.
well, they have Baltimore, and
But that's all. That's all they really have. That's consistently good.
and I
you
don't know if
have-
they have a weaker. Well, you know what? I guess they do have a weaker division than
The Bills
Jets.
and the Patriots are two of the best teams in the AFC right now.
But you know, it's still the NFL, and if you lose in 1 year, your big three, AB, Big Ben, and Le'Veon Bell, all three of them potentially Hall of Famers now. You lose
Mhm.
all three of them, and then to come out and be in contention now, and all three of them in a span of basically a year,
Mhm.
excluding Le'Veon because he missed all of last year, but still,
Mhm.
I mean, like, I tell you what, if something like that happened to Adam Gase, he couldn't recover. And look at Mike Tomlin, like his team is in contention.
Yeah, the other thing with Mike Tomlin is his culture is already established too. I mean, he's been in the seat for a long time.
True.
I think culture wins out in some of those situations when you are able to deal with adversity like that. There's no precedent for adversity with Adam Gase. There's just the adversity of being the Jets head coach, which comes with its own.
Well, he had it in
But
Miami though.
looking at
He built the resume in Miami, so you can't not acknowledge that as part of as part of his resume, as part of what he brings to the table, the baggage that he's bringing into
Yeah.
the next job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's included in the overall.
And you have certain coaches that can come in and immediately change a culture, like Rex Ryan, who came in, to a failing Jets team, and he comes in and goes in 09 and in 10. We go to the AFC Championship game. What about in the late 90s with Bill Parcells, who came and completely changed the culture in 3 years? You know what I mean? 3 years. If we would have beaten the Steelers, we would have played the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl, and we would have won that.
I hate to say it, but if we would have stuck with Rex Ryan, we'd be in much better shape right now.
I think so too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you just have to, hire a better offensive coordinator, and then let's get this thing going, man.
He was a head coach that he stood out in front and he took it when he had to take it, and he dished it out when he dished it out. I don't think anybody really likes Adam Gase's personality.
No.
There's nothing really that really endears you to it.
And that doesn't matter to me because I don't like Bill Belichick's personality, but the dude's a winner. Like there are coaches that I actually like. I like Tom.
That's a good point.
I like
That's a good
Sean
point.
Payton. I like Pete Carroll. And
Mhm.
for the record, I never wanted to get rid of Pete Carroll. He spent 1 year with us as a head coach, was 6-10, and then they got rid of him. Then he went to USC, did his thing, then to the Seahawks, and then that's all she wrote. But I actually like Pete Carroll. But
I did too.
Yeah, man, he's a great defensive coach. He really knows how to put it together.
I don't think that Pete Carroll would be the Pete Carroll that he is today if he didn't have the adversity that he dealt with
Oh,
the Jets
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
and the Patriots.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I think you look at people's story, and their story is kind of defined by those things that happened to them. So,
Yep.
I think. But thinking back to Rex Ryan, and I know we're going off on a little bit of a tangent here,
It's all right.
but thinking back to Rex Ryan, you think about guys like Garrett or Marvin Jones, who got a lot of leeway and a lot of years to kind of fix things. We never really gave that to Rex Ryan. How many years was Rex Ryan here? 5?
I think 5.
Yeah, went to the AFC Championship in 2 of them.
Sure.
Yeah, the first 2. And then didn't make the playoffs after that.
Yeah, and probably would have made the playoffs with the team that he would have had the year after he got fired,
Mhm.
because it was Todd Bowles made Todd Bowl, did Todd Bowles make the playoffs? No, that was the Fitzmagic year, right?
Right, and he was 10-6, and we lost to the Bills, I think.
We lost to the
last
Bills.
game of the season that bumped us out of the playoffs, even though he was setting records. And then we had 2,000-yard receivers with Brandon Marshall and the other kid from Denver who came on over, another good receiver. Forget his name.
Decker.
Eric Decker. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Rex Ryan that bumped us out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
exactly. That was a feel
yeah.
good. All right.
We want to do some tweak me, peek me.
Yeah, man. I was just about to, just cue that bad boy up. So we're gonna do tweak me, peek me. This is where we talk about what kind of gets us going, and then kind of what totally turns us off. So B, cue up that music for tweak me, peek me, and let's get our dance on. What? Yeah, check out Kyle's dance as he goes for it.
That's Kyle Dance.
Yeah. Check out B's dance. Check him out.
Trying to get this double chin to go away.
The chin and double.
All right, guys, we're in our Tweak Me, Peek Me segment, our last segment before we wrap things up. We're going to talk about what's floating our boat and then what's kind of not so much doing so. So, for this week, what is it, week 13, Brian, it could be anything. It could be football. It could be whatever,
Sure.
What's tweaking you? What's peeking you? Which one do you want to tackle first, tweak or peek?
So, I'll say tweak, first of all.
You feel like getting mad first, huh?
I'm already there, right? I mean, we stayed in this muck for the past
You
45
stay
minutes
mad.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, what tweaks me right now is that the Jets and the Knicks have the same amount of wins.
Really?
Yes.
Four.
Four.
Daggone it, Knicks.
Four, bro.
Gee
Four.
whiz.
Four. And in basketball, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in 5 weeks of the schedule, you should have more wins than 4.
And the Knicks had, 2 wins in a row, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So that
Made
was-
you feel good for like a hot second.
Exactly.
They have some close games with good teams. Yeah.
And that's tough, man. 4 wins.
Look at this optimism.
And the thing is, this time last year, we actually had the same record. And the Knicks had like the same record last year
Okay.
at the same time. I guess yesterday before the Celtics game today, which they again lost.
By the way, we should try to go to a Knick game, man. Me, you, Carrie, go to the Knick game.
you realize we haven't been to the Jets game in years.
Like,
Years.
years.
We didn't
It's
go
been like
last year. We're not going to go this year.
3 or 4 years, I think.
Right?
The last time we went on the big group Jets game was before the podcast.
Yes. And
We
played Kirk
we were
Cousins
still
when
just
he was a Redskin.
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So that tells he's been on the Vikings for a few years now.
Yeah.
And the reason I made that face for the Knicks too, and it's just like I don't even know what team. I like the sacrificial lamb. Like I'll
Yeah.
bring my daughter to a game and
Yeah.
we'll go. And I'm like, we're not gonna play against the Lakers with LeBron or whatever
Right.
else, so we can get slaughtered
Yeah.
out there. So I'm like, I don't even know what team to pick now. Can't pick like the Hawks because they'll
Hawks are decent.
are they decent, right? They can go out there and beat you
Yeah.
at any time. I can't find a team
Orlando?
that we can. No,
No.
we can. I think we've already gotten beaten by Orlando this year. It's bad. Maybe even twice.
Memphis?
Maybe.
Maybe Memphis, huh?
Maybe, but no. They got those youngsters. No, that's the Pelicans. I'm thinking
Yeah, the
about.
Pelly's not. You don't want the Pelly's.
Not the Pelly Deli. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying? Not the
nah,
Pelly.
nah.
But anyway. So again,
We beat the Pelicans. That's one of the games we won.
Yes,
Oh.
I think. I don't know. Beat
Yeah.
Porzingis, but that seems
That's
like 2
Dallas.
years ago,
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all a dice roll, bro.
right?
Yeah.
4 wins, 8 wins between the two teams, the two franchises. That, listen, I'm a Yankee fan. I love it. If
Yeah.
I had to put the packing order, it'd probably be Jets, Knicks, Yankees.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As far as like you have the love, it's in the heart,
Yeah.
And I love the Yankees too, but Jets, Knicks, Yankees,
Yeah,
right?
football's a better sport.
Yeah, I mean, you love football more than you love
Yeah.
baseball, from that perspective
Yeah.
too. So you enjoy watching it. I got, Austin in here. Madison, we all in there, you know. And Madison will
I take
come
Liam
in.
to a Yankee game every year. Me and young Eli, we go to the game every year, man.
But this is the worst part, right? So you have Madison come in, and she's like, "Wow, why are the Jets winning?" It's like, no way, the Knicks are winning. Like, oh, that's not good, you know. And she's like, and it's in the first quarter, right?
Madison is Brian's daughter, by the way, and my goddaughter. So just want to let you, the viewing audience, know who she is so that you can connect it.
All day, man. So she'll come in and she'll be like, "Wow, the Knicks are actually winning."
Yeah.
She's like, "You know what? By the end of the game, they're not going to end up winning anyway." So I don't. You know, I'm like, "Oh,
Bro,
but she's right."
my son doesn't like football.
Mhm.
You know why?
You?
Because yeah, because of the Jets, really.
Oh yeah, I'll
So-
blame them. Yeah.
I'd be in the basement. Come on, Sanchez, what's going on here? And Liam is upstairs like, Dad, Mom, Dad's scaring me, you know? So it turned him off to football, and it really turned him off to the Jets. So you know what sports he likes? He likes baseball and basketball.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm a big football guy, played football, high school, a little bit in college, and I'm like, wow, I turned my own son off to football.
I've heard this story a few times.
I know,
now.
and it's
just
like
the Huffy bike story. And you always blame it on Sanchez. It's always, come on.
No, I don't want
Sanchez."
to. Nah, I don't want to blame Sanchez. I work with him.
You
like
always
once a
do
week.
though. You always say that. Come on, Sanchez.
You know what piques me now that you mention it?
Go ahead.
That you work with Sanchez and Rex Ryan. So you know our glory days.
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
get to go in there and relive the glory days. Do they like, you know?
You know what? They work on separate days.
Okay.
So, like one's in the beginning of the week and one's at the end of the week.
Oh, okay.
So you know,
They don't like passing the hall and, you know.
I've never seen them, but they may have gone. Either
He
way,
has
I'm
his
sure they're
tattoo.
cool.
He has
but,
the
you know,
tattoo.
Yeah. He still has a tattoo. He was saying that he still has it, and he was cracking up about it.
Funny.
Rex is crazy, man. I love Coach Rex. He's I like them both. They're pleasure to work with.
So out of all of the years that, and I was looking at his record here.
Rex's?
Yeah, Rex's record as New York Jets head coach. So 9-7, 11-5, 8-8, 6-10, 7-8, and 4-12.
That's what did him in.
That's what did him in was the 4-12. But I mean, it seems to be par for the course of a 4-win or a 5-win season nowadays.
I'll tell you what I think did in Rex. In the attempt to give the Jets an identity, he was projecting a lot of stuff out there, like basically projecting things like the idea of like, we're the best. Oh, you want some of us? Come and get it, because we'll punch you right in the face. So he gave our team a toughness. He gave us a defensive identity. And basically he was projecting through expectations of us going far and winning. And then it worked for him year 1 and year 2. And then when it wasn't working year 3, 4, and 5, I think people got tired of it. But it wasn't the wrong thing to do. It's one of those things like, all right, Rex, just be quiet. Like, let us just kind of, you know, sneak in there and get something. But a lot of attention came to the Jets, and they would really, you know, opposing teams would really like, all right, the Jets are coming up. We're going to really coach this up really well. And we couldn't sneak a little win here and there against some of these teams. Like, whenever we won, we had to earn it, like really, really earn it. So I think in that respect, people were like, he's bringing too much attention. But I loved it because for a team, you know, I talk a lot about identity. The Jets now, they have no identity except for losing one. You know, and I loved what Rex brought to the game for our franchise here. But I don't know, man. Whatever. So that's what piques you, huh, B?
Yeah, well, you know, yeah.
Look at
It's not a lot, man. I had to really dig deep for that one.
But I got the camera on you right now. Look at your face as far as being peaked. It's like it's not satisfying.
No. It's sort of
Peak
Thanksgiving
while eating a
dinner
lemon.
with like crackers and lemonade.
Funny. With not enough sugar.
With not enough sugar.
Kyle McKenna, what you got? Tweak
Sugar
me, peak
water.
me. Sugar water.
All right. I'm tweaked by the headline that I just saw.
Ooh, what's that?
From ESPN.com. Ready for this one?
Oh,
Historic loss exposes Jets as a bad team masquerading as a contender.
Wow.
They never masqueraded as a contender. They were never in contention.
Listen to the dude that was in the furniture store. We kind of masqueraded as a pretender, as a contender for a minute. Like, hey, believe,
Yeah.
and he believed me.
Listen, tell him to relax with the Raymore and Flanagans. All right,
Funny.
He needs to.
Ashley Furniture.
Yeah, right. Go to Ashley's, all right, and join the Giants fan over there or something. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle.
We had the team that I coached for. We had a game like this Bengal game this year, and I'm thinking about. I have that on my mind right now too. Just how empty you feel after participating either as a coach or a player in a game like this, where the team didn't show much energy at all while they're competing and making all these mistakes. So that headline tweaks me, but it tweaks me because it's true. Historic losses and all that. But I think that, like, also along with the tweaks is just like it tweaks me that, like, my expectations were even driven up a little bit, even though I had the sense to think about it as a trap game and not be completely seduced by the thought of it being something good. So that those are my tweaks there. I would say that my peaks, and this is going back to the last 3 weeks. Bless Austin.
Yeah.
Is definitely a big peak. If we can have him as a starting corner next year, if he's a starting corner quality, whether he's the best corner we have or he's just one of the starters, then that's a big pickup right there. And I really like the play of Arthur Millette the last few weeks as well. I hope that he's not so hurt that he's going to be out for a period of time. Poole as well, along with Marcus May and Jamal Adams. We were seeing some good things there. And that also leads me to my second peak, which is just Greg Williams' ability to do things with the defense. And I don't think Greg Williams coached a bad game today. I think that
he held them to 22 points, so I don't think he coached a bad game either. I think he did an adequate job.
Well, he held them to 20 points. The 2 points were on
on the offense.
Beecham scored 2 points for the Bengals today.
Come on,
swish,
Beach.
Beecham, who everybody was talking really, really nicely about, and
I
went
think
right back to.
They were overdoing all that talk. I was shaking my head every time I heard that too. By the way, all those niceties.
I mean, the stats backed it up. When Darnold and Beecham both play, the Jets are 4-1. And I'm still, after all the things we're saying about Gase here, when it comes to the body of work here, he's only had 8 games with a starting quarterback in there that's of quality.
Brendan loves that. He loves that one.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So
whatever. I'm over that,
I don't know
dude.
what to tell you.
I hear you. So for my tweak me peep me, I'm gonna make this real quick. I'm gonna go with the tweak first. The offensive line, and Adam Gase as an overall head coach, they tweak me. We really need to make changes. If we end up keeping Gase, which is what the Jets said that they're going to do, we really need to I need Joe Douglas to really go ham, and really go after replenishing and replacing and putting stalwarts in at the offensive line. That should be our main focus since we're going to be picking high in the draft. Get the best offensive lineman available there. We need an offensive tackle, like a left tackle, and I want a center who is not only strong but also cerebral, who's very smart and can make wise decisions as well as far as calling out fronts, et cetera, and really developing a kinship with Sam Darnold, and then build around that foundation right there. Anyway, so that tweaks me. What piques me is, you know what, I'm going to shout out to the Lindenhurst Bulldogs. The Lindenhurst Bulldogs in Suffolk County, Long Island. they won the Class 2 championships, and they beat Garden City. You know, Garden City's a powerhouse in that class in Long Island, and they beat them at Hofstra, and Lindenhurst won the Long Island championship. So I just want to just give them a shout out. You know, hometown.
That's what's up.
You know, but
Lindenhurst.
Lucky Lindy, the Lindenhurst Bulldogs. But you know, I got love and respect for them. But I'm a Bolden Bruin baby, so you know. But yeah, but seriously, congrats to the Lindy Bulldogs in winning that championship. And they've become like, you know, kind of a powerhouse football program for the last, I'd say, maybe 5-6 years. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, listen, guys and girls, that's it for our show. Thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK.
Yuck.
Shut up. You see me try to play that one off?
Yeah. Didn't get past me.
Yeah, I know. It figures, you know. Friggin' Brian.
I thought you guys were laughing at the fact that I look like a floating head.
Oh, you definitely do, Kyle. I was going to talk about that later.
Guilty. I look like Superman 2, like I'm gonna make like General Zod.
General Zod.
Guilty.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I can't even finish my read, but hey, listen, you can go to Podomatic.com, look up BKBK. You can check us out on YouTube.
We're everywhere.
BKBK Podcast, Facebook, Instagram. You know, and Twitter and all that good stuff. All righty. So you know, thank you guys so much. B, you can cue up that fadeaway music. No, that's the peak me. No, we don't want that. We want the what is it? The regular music. How about that?
The reggaeton? Is that what you're talking about?
Mira, reggaeton.
Reggaeton.
Yeah. Lord of mercy. Take care, everybody. God bless. Good night.